San Diego police say an officer was forced to shoot a man they say was involved in a domestic disturbance. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. This shooting happened this morning at a home on South Pardee Street in the Mountain View neighborhood. Police say the 39-year-old man that they were called about was possibly threatening people inside the house and charged at officers with a curtain rod. And that's when he was shot and later died. Tonight, the officer who shot him is on administrative leave.
Meanwhile, tonight, officials are seeing a big uptick in gun sales across California, with many pointing to the COVID-19 pandemic as the reason. As News 8's David Gottfredson reports, some of those gun owners say they're keeping their firearms unlocked and accessible to children.
Pandemic-related fears have led to a surge in gun sales.
110,000 new guns have been purchased in California, specifically due to the pandemic, according to a new study by UC Davis. 47,000 of those guns were purchased by new gun owners. San Diego City Attorney Mara Elliott said Monday those pandemic-related gun sales are putting children at risk.
Curious kids are at home all day. I've got a couple. And they have ample time to find and play with guns while their parents are distracted with other responsibilities.
The UC Davis survey found the reason why people were buying guns was because they were concerned about lawlessness during the pandemic, prisoner releases due to COVID, the government going too far, a government collapse, and gun stores closing.
A recent study showed concerns over the pandemic have caused some gun owners to change their storage practices, with some reporting that they now keep a loaded gun unlocked and at the ready.
The city attorney, along with County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, also announced a new training program to educate child welfare social workers about safe storage of firearms and gun violence restraining orders.
These trainings will ensure that child welfare social workers know how gun violence restraining orders can be used to protect children from dangerous gun owners. GVROs have been used to diffuse hundreds of situations involving domestic violence, threats of school and workplace shootings, suicide threats, and other circumstances such as hate crimes.
The city attorney says over the past 3 years, her office has used gun violence restraining orders to remove more than 600 guns from dangerous gun owners. Carlo?
David, here in San Diego, the city of San Diego has a law that all guns have to be locked up inside of a home. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's a law that went into effect last year, as you say, for the city of San Diego. Gun owners inside their homes have to keep guns in either locked containers or they have to have a trigger lock. Back to you.
Quite the surge in gun sales. David Gottfredson reporting live. Thanks, David. A search is on tonight for a father accused of abducting his 2 young children. Fung Lian Chin is accused of running away with the 7- and 8-year-old children during a weekend visit. Chin is Asian, 47 years old, 5'8", about 130 pounds. San Diego County Crime Stoppers and investigators with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force are handling the case. Anyone with information should call 888-580-8477.
A magnitude 7.5 earthquake in southwestern Alaska triggered a tsunami warning for the state today, but there's no threat to the California coast tonight.
The earthquake hit just before 2 this afternoon in Sandpoint, Alaska. That's about 600 miles southeast of Anchorage. It was followed by several aftershocks within the 5 range. We don't know yet if anyone has been injured or the extent of any damage.
Today, county officials are reporting 380 new coronavirus cases out of nearly 9,000 tests. That's a positive rate of about 4%. No new deaths were reported today. That is typical for a Monday, and the total remains at 853. No new outbreaks were reported either. We have seen 31 in the past week. San Diego County's adjusted case rate of 6.8 now. If that number goes above 7 for consecutive weeks, we would move back into the purple tier, which is more restrictive. That number will be updated by the state at noon tomorrow. Coronavirus cases have now hit 40 million worldwide. Here in the U.S., new cases are the highest they have been since the summer. And hospitalizations are up in at least 30 states. Laura Podesta has more on the national situation.
The ICU at the University of Utah Hospital reached beyond full capacity, forcing patients into surge beds.
Long term, this is a very difficult thing for our staff to be able to maintain.
Nationwide, the number of daily new coronavirus cases has reached its highest level since the summer. In Chicago, as restaurants set up outdoor plastic bubbles for diners, city officials sounded the alarm on a second wave.
As we head into the fall and winter months, it is the worst possible time to let our guard down.
Cases in Chicago have risen by more than 50% over the last 2 weeks to more than 500 per day.
And it's coinciding with a worrying increase in hospitalizations.
In Brooklyn, New York, a planned wedding was expected to draw thousands of guests until officials concerned about a super spreader event stepped in. Representatives now say the Monday night wedding of a prominent member in the Hasidic community will only be open to close family members.
I am heartened by the fact that the message was heard that it's not business as usual.
And while researchers continue working on a vaccine, a new poll shows the percentage of Americans who say they'll likely get it as soon as it's available has dropped more than 10 points since August. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
A survey from Stat, a health-oriented news website, and a poll conducted by Harris Insights and Analytics found that 58% of Americans overall said they would get vaccinated as soon as that vaccine was available. That's down from 69% who said the same thing back in mid-August.
All right, so definitely a cool down taking place here in San Diego as we look at temperatures slowly but surely work their way back down to average. As you look at the temperatures around 2 o'clock this afternoon, any spot in the county was cooler than it was the day before yesterday. 9 degrees cooler up in the Miramar area. The mountains 4 to 5 to 6 degrees cooler. And even out in the deserts, Borrego, 2 degrees cooler. Our highs around the county today, it was nice in the inland microclimates in the mid to upper 80s. Valley Center at 88, 85 in Ramona, 84 in El Cajon. Coastal on the beaches and harbor, Oceanside 71, Del Mar 71. Downtown San Diego 77 and Borrego at 99. Now the cooling trend continues as we make our way into the mid part of the work week. We get at average or below by Wednesday and Thursday. And for you folks in the inland microclimates, you haven't seen this in a while. A 70-degree reading on Thursday. Much cooler weather on the way. And if you can believe this, a chance of rain. We'll send it back to you.
Rain. I think we've forgotten what that is. Thanks, Sean. Well, 15 days to go until Election Day, and today's the last day to register to vote here in California. Registrar Michael Vu says more than 1.9 million people in San Diego County are now registered, a record 87% of eligible voters, and the enthusiasm could mean a record turnout as well.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited, and yeah, it's very important to do your civic duty.
I'm 75. I've been voting all my life, and this is the most important election for sure.
You can register online until midnight tonight. Now, if you miss it, you can still vote, but you'll have to register in person and cast a provisional ballot. There is a process where you'll then have a chance to prove that you're eligible to vote in order to be counted.
Local federal officials are doing their part to ensure the election goes on safely and fairly. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christopher Tenorio has been appointed to handle any complaints of voting rights abuses and election fraud that arise in Southern California. The FBI will also have special agents and an election crimes coordinator dedicated to election integrity. We have their direct contact information on our website, and for answers to all your voting questions, visit cbs8.com/vote. With just 15 days until Election Day, President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are hitting the campaign trail on opposite sides of the country. Meanwhile, Democratic Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris was focused on Florida. Skylar Henry is at the White House with more.
President Trump is in central and southern Arizona for 2 campaign rallies.
We're going to win the state of Arizona. And we are going to win 4 more years in that beautiful White House.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows the 2020 Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, slightly ahead in the Copper State. During a Monday morning call with campaign staffers, the president slammed Dr. Anthony Fauci, a day after he appeared on CBS 60 Minutes.
Has the White House been controlling when you can speak with the media?
You know, I think you'd have to be honest to say yes.
People are tired of hearing Fauci and all these idiots, these people that have gotten it wrong. Fauci's a disaster.
During the call, the president expressed optimism that he'll win the 2020 election and disputed published reports that he doesn't get along with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris made multiple campaign stops in Florida, where early in-person voting is now underway.
We know we need a change, and a change is coming.
We made America great again.
Meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence hit the campaign trail in Maine and Pennsylvania. Other than a quick trip across town in Wilmington, Delaware, Biden is taking his time to prepare for Thursday's debate. Former President Barack Obama will make his first in-person campaign appearance for Biden in Philadelphia this Wednesday. Skyler Henry, the White House.
And today, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced a new rule change for Thursday's debate. It will allow microphones to be cut off as the other candidate delivers their opening 2-minute answer to each of the debate topics.
Still ahead tonight, a string of global malware attacks and who's now facing charges.
Plus, where these leopard sharks were spotted off our coast today.
A camera so small it can fit on the back of a beetle? I'm Sean Stiles. I've got the story coming up on News 8.